hollow roots.
Most people think a ranger's job is a quiet one. Long hikes, friendly smiles at the trailhead, maybe chasing the occasional drunk teenager out of a campsite. That's how I thought it would be when I joined the Forest Service. But the woods have a way of teaching you how small you are. They remind you that night doesn't belong to people. It belongs to the trees. And some nights, they talk back. My name is Thomas Hale, Senior Ranger of Black Elk National Park. I've worked here 12 years. I thought I'd seen everything. Bears breaking into coolers, storms dropping trees across roads, even a meth lab hidden in the brush. But nothing prepared me for the hollows. It started with complaints. 3 weeks ago, visitors came to the station reporting strange sounds on the Hollow Creek Trail. One man swore he heard voices echoing from the trees after dark. Another described a hollow, booming noise, like someone beating a drum inside the trunks. Most dismissed it as an owl, or the wind, or just their nerves in the dark. But when the same reports kept coming, Ranger Evelyn Cross and I were assigned to investigate. Evelyn was new, fresh out of training, eager to prove herself. She had that calm, book-smart energy, always quoting procedure, always checking her radio twice. Good ranger. The kind you want at your back when you're miles from anyone else. We packed light, flashlights, radios, sidearms. The night was cool, the moon hidden behind thick clouds. When we reached Hollow Creek Trail, even the crickets were silent. That's never a good sign in the forest. Silence here means something is listening. The first hour was uneventful. Gravel crunching under our boots, flashlights cutting tunnels of pale light through the black. Evelyn asked about my years here, and I gave her the usual advice. Never assume you're alone. Never let your guard down after dark, and never trust what you think you hear. That's when it happened. We were halfway down the trail when Evelyn froze. Her light swept over a massive oak, its trunk wide enough to park a truck inside. She tilted her head.
Did you hear that?
What?
Like something hollow from the tree.
I held my breath. At first, I heard nothing. Then, thoom, thoom, thoom. A deep, muffled knock, like someone drumming from inside the trunk. Evelyn shot me a look, eyes wide. I walked closer, pressing a palm to the bark. It vibrated, faint but steady, each thud resonating through the wood. Probably squirrels nesting in the rotted trunks. Sometimes the trunks echoed the sounds, I told her, but I didn't believe it. Neither did she. We moved on, but the sound followed. Every few minutes, another tree would echo with the same hollow knocks. Not just one, not random, they came in a pattern, thoom, 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 almost like a heartbeat. The deeper we went, the worse it got. Some trees didn't just knock, they whispered. I swear to you, I pressed my ear to one trunk and heard words. Not clear, not in English, but layered, like many voices speaking at once from far below. The kind of sound you feel more than hear. I stepped back, shaken. Evelyn's face was pale, but she forced a smile.
Could be wind tunnels in the root systems, natural acoustics.
She wanted to believe it. I wanted to believe it too. But then we found the opening. It was an ash tree, old and massive. The bark had split at the base, forming a dark hollow just wide enough to crawl inside. Evelyn crouched, shining her light into the gap. The beam didn't stop. It just kept going, vanishing down into blackness that shouldn't have been there. The hollow was deeper than the tree itself. Evelyn glanced back at me.
Tom, this isn't normal.
Step back. I nudged her aside and crouched low. My flashlight slid into the hollow, revealing rough wood that gave way to dirt, roots. The tunnel sloped downward, far beyond where the trunk should have ended, and faintly, from below, came the sound. Thoom, thoom, thoom. This wasn't rot, it wasn't wind. Something was moving beneath the forest. We marked the spot with tape and continued, but the air grew heavier with every step. It felt like walking through a pressure chamber. The trees loomed taller, their trunks black against the faint moonlight. And more, we found hollows. Some small as fists, others large enough to swallow us whole. Each one breathed faint drafts of cool air, smelling of damp soil and something else, something sweet, like rotting fruit. Evelyn grew restless.
Tom, this doesn't feel right. We should log it and come back in daylight.
I wanted to agree, but something in me, call it duty, call it pride, pushed me deeper. This was our park, our responsibility. If something was happening here, we had to know. So we pressed on. At mile marker 3, the trail bent toward Hollow Creek itself. The water was low, trickling over rocks, the air heavy with mud and moss. We paused to drink from our canteens. That's when Evelyn gasped. I followed her gaze to the opposite bank. A massive sycamore leaned over the water, its roots exposed in a tangle, and in the middle of the trunk was the largest hollow yet, wide, yawning, like an open mouth. And from it came a sound I will never forget. Crying. Faint, childlike sobs echoing from the darkness. Evelyn's hand shot to her radio. "Wait," I said. "Listen." She froze. The sobs grew louder, more desperate. But something was wrong. The cadence was off, too rhythmic, too deliberate, like someone imitating a cry. Evelyn's face was pale.
It sounds like a kid. We can't just...
That's not a kid. The sobbing stopped. Silence pressed in. Then, slowly, the sound shifted into laughter. Every instinct screamed to run. Instead, I raised my flashlight and shined it into the hollow. The beam reached only a few feet before fading into blackness. But for a split second, I swear I saw movement. Not a child, not an animal. Something pale, thin, pressed against the inner wall of the tree. It pulled back into the dark before I could focus. Evelyn grabbed my arm, voice shaking.
Tom, what the hell was that?
I didn't answer, because for the first time in my career I had no answer. We turned back. We should have run. But the trees weren't done with us yet. On the return hike, the forest closed in. Every tree seemed to breathe. Every shadow watched. The knocks grew louder, syncing with our footsteps. Thoom, 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 thoom. At one point, Evelyn froze, shining her light on the ground. Footprints. Small, barefoot prints in the mud, leading off the trail and straight into another hollow. They were fresh. We followed them with our eyes until they vanished into darkness. Evelyn whispered, voice cracking.
They go in, but there's no way out.
I couldn't argue, and as we stood there, the prints began to change. Right before our eyes, the edges softened, sinking back into the soil until the ground was smooth again. Erased. Evelyn stumbled back, trembling.
This isn't possible. Tom, we shouldn't be here.
And for the first time, I agreed. We made it back to the station just after 2 a.m. Neither of us spoke on the drive. I filed the report with vague words, tree hollows, strange acoustics, possible animal den. Nothing about the crying, or the footprints, or the moving shapes. I couldn't bring myself to put those on paper, but I knew the trees were alive, not just living, aware. They were calling, luring, feeding. And deep beneath the forest floor, something was waiting in the hollows. I thought the hollows would leave my head once I left the forest. That night I went home, locked my door, poured 2 fingers of whiskey and tried to convince myself it was nothing but imagination. But the knocking followed me. Soft, steady thuds in the walls of my house, in the pipes, even in my own chest when I pressed my hand there. A rhythm that wasn't mine. By morning, I'd half convinced myself it was stress, lack of sleep, until Evelyn showed up at the ranger station, pale, sleepless, dark circles under her eyes.
You hear it too, don't you?
I froze. She didn't need to explain. The hollows had followed her too. For 3 days, we tried to push it aside. We handled campers, cleared brush, checked weather radios. Normal ranger duties. But whenever the forest closed in, whenever the wind dropped and the silence pressed heavy, the sound returned. Thoom, 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 and worse, whispers. Not just from the trees anymore, from inside us. I caught Evelyn standing too close to one of the hollows on patrol, her hand pressed to the bark like she was listening for a heartbeat. When I pulled her away, she looked at me like she'd just woken from a dream.
It's saying something. I almost understood it this time.
Don't listen. But even as I said it, I knew I'd been doing the same thing. Leaning in, straining for the words. That night, I woke from a dream of roots curling around my legs, dragging me down. My phone buzzed at 2:17 a.m. Evelyn. Her voice was frantic, hushed.
Tom, you have to come. I'm at the creek, the big sycamore. I think there's someone inside.
I was dressed and out the door in under a minute. The drive felt endless, headlights cutting tunnels through the black. By the time I reached Hollow Creek Trail, fog had rolled in thick and low, clinging to the ground like smoke. I killed the engine. No other cars. No sign of Evelyn. Only the forest, waiting. I hiked fast, flashlight slicing through the mist. The silence was crushing, broken only by my boots on gravel. Then came the first knock. Thoom. It echoed from my right, deep inside a pine. Another knock answered from the left. Then another ahead, and another behind. The forest was alive with hollow hearts, all pounding in unison. I broke into a run. At the creek, the fog was thicker, swirling with every breath of wind. My light fell on the sycamore, the one with the gaping hollow like a mouth. And there was Evelyn. She was on her knees, half inside the trunk, arms braced on the bark as if she were crawling through. Her radio crackled on the ground beside her, hissing static. "Evelyn!" She didn't move. I grabbed her boots and yanked. She screamed, not in fear but in anger.
No, let go. He's right there. I can almost reach him.
I pulled harder, dragging her free. She thrashed in my grip, clawing toward the hollow. "Evelyn, there's no one in there." Her eyes were wild, pupils blown wide.
I heard him. Tom, a boy. He was crying. He needs help.
I shook her hard. "You didn't hear a boy. You heard them. The trees. They're using you." She went still. For a moment, I thought I'd broken through. Then she whispered almost tenderly,
Then why does it sound like my brother?
She told me the story as we staggered back to the trailhead. Her younger brother drowned when she was 14. She'd been there, on the riverbank, frozen while he was swept away. The guilt never left her. And now the trees were using it.
If there's even a chance it's him, I have to go back.
I didn't argue. Not then. She wouldn't have heard me. Over the next week, Evelyn changed. She patrolled at odd hours, alone, without logging her routes. She stopped eating with the rest of the team. When I did see her, she was distracted, eyes always drifting toward the tree line. One night, I found her standing in the dark outside the station, staring into the forest. "You've been out there again." She didn't deny it.
They showed me more. The tunnels don't just go down, they connect, like veins, like a body. The whole forest is one.
I tried to pull her back, but her conviction was unshakable. She believed the hollows held the dead, her brother, maybe more. That if she went far enough in, she could bring them back. And I realized something that chilled me worse than the whispers ever could. The forest wasn't just calling to us. It was choosing which of us to keep. The last night I saw her alive, I woke to static on my radio. Evelyn's voice, faint, breaking.
Tom, I think I found the way through. If I don't come back, don't follow.
The transmission ended in a rush of whispers. I drove straight to the trailhead. Her truck was there, engine still warm. I hiked fast, flashlight shaking in my grip. The fog was back, thicker than ever, curling like smoke between the trees. At the sycamore, the hollow yawned wide, darker than night itself. Evelyn's hat lay in the mud at its base. Her radio crackled nearby, whispering words I couldn't understand. And from deep inside the hollow came the faint sound of footsteps. Not hers. Something heavier, slower, crawling up from below. I ran. I don't remember how I made it back to the station or how long I sat in my truck shaking before the sun rose. When the others arrived, I said nothing. Logged nothing. Because how do you explain that the forest itself took her? That beneath our feet, the roots aren't just wood, but tunnels, veins, mouths. I lasted 2 days before I broke. 2 days of silence at the station, of other rangers asking about Evelyn and me mumbling excuses. 2 days of lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, hearing the hollows knocking in my walls. 2 days of imagining her trapped inside the trees, calling my name. By the third night, I couldn't take it anymore. I packed rope, flares, spare batteries, logged an off-shift patrol in the book, drove straight to Hollow Creek Trail. The forest met me in silence. No crickets, no owls, just the fog, rising thick and heavy, swallowing the trail ahead. When I reached the sycamore, the hollow was waiting, wider now, as if it had grown in the last 48 hours. Evelyn's hat was gone. Her radio, too. Only the dark mouth remained, breathing a faint draft of cool, damp air. I tied off the rope to the trunk, clipped it to my belt, and aimed my flashlight inside. The beam revealed walls of rough wood, narrowing at first, then widening again. The tunnel sloped downward, steep and irregular, like the throat of some great animal. I took a breath and crawled in. The tunnel swallowed me quick, bark scraping my arms and knees. My light bobbed across the walls, not just wood now, but dirt and roots woven tight like ribs. The rope dragged behind me, a lifeline. I kept one hand on it, repeating to myself, in and out. Don't lose the rope. The deeper I went, the louder the knocking grew, not distant anymore, not scattered, a steady pulse all around me. After 20 minutes, the tunnel opened into a cavern. I stood, brushing dirt from my knees, and shined my light around. The chamber was massive, larger than any root system had a right to be. The walls were alive with roots, pulsing faintly, glistening with moisture. Some thick as tree trunks, others thin as veins, and scattered across the floor were bones. Human bones, dozens of them, picked clean, piled against the walls like driftwood. I gagged, bile burning my throat. My light shook as I scanned the chamber. That's when I saw the first figure. At first, I thought it was Evelyn. A woman stood half in shadow at the far end of the chamber facing the wall. Her clothes were torn, hair hanging in tangles. Evelyn? She didn't turn. I stumbled toward her, hope rising against my better judgment. Evelyn, it's me. We're getting out of here. My light fell across her back. Her skin was pale, too pale. And then she turned. It wasn't Evelyn. The thing wore her shape, but its eyes were black pits, and its mouth opened too wide, stretching ear to ear. Roots spilled from between its teeth, writhing like worms. It screamed. The sound wasn't human. It was the groan of wood bending, the shriek of bark splitting. I staggered back, fumbling for my sidearm, fired once, twice. The shots echoed, deafening. The figure collapsed, bursting apart into a tangle of roots and bark. When the dust settled, nothing remained. Only the rope in my hand, trembling as if it, too, were afraid. I should have run, then. Climbed back up, sealed the hollow, never returned. But Evelyn's voice was in my head.
If there's even a chance it's him, I have to go back.
And I knew, if I left now, she was lost forever. So I pressed deeper into the labyrinth. The tunnels twisted, sloping down and sideways, splitting into branches. Every wall pulsed faintly, alive with sap and breath. My rope stretched behind me, dwindling. Whispers filled the air. At first faint, then louder. They came from the walls, from the floor, from inside my skull. Some were Evelyn's voice. Some were my father's, dead 10 years. Some were voices I didn't know, pleading, crying, begging me to follow. The deeper I went, the more I smelled it, that sickly sweet rot clinging to my clothes, my hair, my skin. And then I found her. The tunnel widened into another chamber. In the center hung a figure, suspended in a web of roots. Evelyn. Her arms and legs were bound tight, chest rising shallowly. Roots threaded into her skin, pulsing with each breath. Her eyes fluttered open as my light found her.
Tom.
I rushed forward, hacking at the roots with my knife. They bled. Thick, dark sap spilled across my hands, sticky and reeking. The roots writhed, tightening around her.
Don't. It hurts them.
I don't care. I'm getting you out. Her eyes filled with tears.
You don't understand. I can hear them now. The forest. It's all one. And it wants us.
The roots tightened, pulling her back into the wall. No, hold on! I cut faster, screaming. But for every root I severed, 2 more coiled tighter. Her face contorted with pain, and she whispered one last word before the roots swallowed her whole.
Run.
Then she was gone. I ran. Through twisting tunnels, through chambers of bones, through air thick with whispers. My rope had snapped somewhere along the way. I had no guide back. The labyrinth shifted as I moved, tunnels closing, others opening, roots pushing from the walls to steer me deeper. I was no longer a trespasser. I was prey. At one turn, I stumbled into a chamber filled with figures, dozens of them standing in rows, motionless. Men, women, children. Skin pale, eyes black, mouths slack. Not alive, not dead, hollow. They turned their heads toward me in unison and smiled. Roots split their skin as they stepped forward, reaching. I fled, heart hammering. Their laughter followed, creaking and groaning like bending wood. Hours or days passed. Time had no meaning underground. My batteries dwindled, light fading. Hunger gnawed, thirst burned. Every tunnel looked the same, every whisper louder than the last, until I stumbled into the heart. The chamber was vast. Roots twisted into a great mass at the center, pulsing like a living organ. Sap dripped in thick streams, pooling black on the floor. And within that mass, I saw faces. Hundreds of them, pressed against the surface. Eyes wide, mouths open in silent screams. Evelyn's face among them, pale and still, her lips moving soundlessly. The forest's heart. I fell to my knees, sobbing. My knife clattered to the floor. The whispers rose, deafening now. Join, join, join. Roots uncoiled, slithering toward me. I don't remember deciding to fight. I only remember the flare in my hand, sparking to life. I hurled it into the mass. The chamber lit with hellfire. Roots shrieked, recoiling, faces writhing in agony. Sap boiled, dripping flames. The whispers turned to screams. I ran as the forest convulsed, tunnels collapsing, walls shuddering. Smoke filled the air, choking. Somehow, I found a shaft of light above, clawed my way up through dirt and roots until I broke the surface. I collapsed on the forest floor, gasping, the night air cold and sharp. Behind me, the ground shifted. The sycamore shuddered, its hollow collapsing inward, sealing shut with a sound like bone breaking. And then silence. I never found Evelyn again. The others searched for weeks. Her truck was abandoned, her patrol logs empty. Eventually, they wrote it off as a disappearance. I filed no report, told no one what I'd seen, who would believe me. But I know the truth. The hollows are still out there. Not just the sycamore. I've seen them in every corner of the park now. Black mouths in the bark, breathing faint drafts of cold air. Sometimes at night I hear knocking in the distance. Sometimes whispers crawl up through the floorboards of the station. And sometimes, when I walk Hollow Creek Trail alone, I see Evelyn ahead of me. She always turns the corner just before I can catch up, always smiling, always waiting by the trees. I don't patrol at night anymore. Not if I can help it, but others do. Young rangers, eager and fresh, just like Evelyn was. And sometimes they come back pale, distracted. Sometimes they pause too long by the tree line, listening. The forest is patient. It doesn't need all of us, just enough.
Echoes in Red Pines.
There's a stretch of forest in Black Elk National Park where the trees grow too close together, their trunks rising straight as pillars, their bark a deep, almost bloody red. We call it the Red Pines. I've worked the park 5 years, long enough to know every trail, every landmark, long enough to know the difference between natural quiet and the kind that feels wrong. The Red Pines have always felt wrong. My name is Ranger Daniel Briggs, and I'm putting this down while I still can. Maybe someone will believe me. Maybe not. But I have to try. It began last winter when the first hiker vanished. We got the call just after sunset. A man and his son had been walking the Red Pines Loop when the boy ran ahead. He said his dad stepped up off the trail to follow someone who looked just like him. The boy waited. His father never returned. Search teams combed the area for 3 days. We found tracks that doubled back, looping and twisting. We found scraps of clothing, torn branches, disturbed soil. But no sign of the man himself. The boy swore he saw 2 versions of his dad. One who called to him from ahead, and another who stayed behind. We chalked it up to stress, shock, the confusion of a child. But I remembered the look in his eyes. He wasn't lying. Weeks passed. The case faded until the disappearances kept happening. A solo backpacker, a pair of hunters, a couple on a winter hike. Each time, the same area. The Red Pines. Each time, the same story. Voices calling from the dark. Faces glimpsed between the trunks. Familiar faces. Family. Friends. And then silence. By spring, 5 people were gone. That's when they sent me and Ranger Maria Vance to investigate. Maria had been my partner for 2 years. Sharp, confident, no nonsense. She didn't scare easy, didn't entertain ghost stories. When I told her about the boy's claim, about 2 versions of his father, she rolled her eyes.
Just echoes, Dan. Sound does weird things in the pines. You've heard it yourself.
She was right. The trees in that stretch carried voices like a cathedral. A shout could bounce for miles. But echoes didn't explain the faces. Still, we had a job to do. We set out just after dusk. Standard patrol, radios, flashlights, sidearms, maps. The trail was damp from recent snowmelt, the air sharp with pine resin. The forest grew darker the deeper we went. The trunks rose like blood-red spears, blotting out the stars. Our lights cut narrow cones across the path, shadows twitching at the edges. For the first hour, nothing. Just the crunch of boots, the occasional snap of a branch. Maria kept her tone casual, cracking jokes, humming under her breath. I tried to match her calm, but every step felt heavier, like the forest itself was pressing closer. At mile 2, it began. We both heard it at once. A voice faint but clear calling from the trees.
Maria, wait up.
Maria froze. I swung my light into the dark, heart hammering. The voice came again, closer now.
It's me. Don't go without me.
Maria's jaw tightened.
That's my brother's voice.
I frowned. Your brother?
He died 3 years ago.
Her hand trembled on the flashlight. We scanned the trees, but saw nothing, only red trunks and black shadow. Then the voice changed.
Daniel, hey, over here.
My stomach dropped. It was my father's voice, dead 10 years. We stood back to back, lights sweeping, breath fogging. The forest had gone deathly still. Maria muttered through clenched teeth.
It's a trick. Just sound, that's all.
But it wasn't just sound. Because then we saw them, figures between the trees, faint at first, like shapes in fog, moving where no one should be. One stepped forward, into the edge of my light. I froze. It was me. The figure was identical in every detail. Same jacket, same hat, same tired eyes. It stood 30 feet away, staring with my own face. Maria's light flicked sideways. Her breath caught.
It's me. Oh God, it's me.
We both faced doubles, standing side by side among the pines, motionless. Then they spoke. You don't belong here.
Come with us.
The voices were perfect. Our voices. I raised my sidearm. Stay back. The doubles didn't move, didn't blink. Just stared, pale eyes gleaming in the light. Maria reached for her radio, but static hissed loud and sharp. The screen flickered dead. Then all at once the doubles vanished. Not into the trees, not into shadow. They just weren't there anymore. The forest was empty again. Maria grabbed my arm, voice shaking.
We're turning back. Now.
I didn't argue. We hurried down the trail, lights cutting frantic arcs. The silence pressed heavy, every step too loud. Then the whispers began, faint at first, then louder. Not one voice, but many, overlapping, echoing all around us, calling our names.
Maria, Daniel, this way. Don't leave us.
Maria broke into a jog. I followed, heart pounding. The trail twisted, shadows closing in, and then ahead we saw ourselves. Two figures stood at the trail's bend, facing us, Maria and Daniel, U.S. They raised their hands, beckoning.
This way. Hurry, you'll be safe.
Don't trust the other one. Maria skidded to a halt, breathing hard.
Which is real?
The doubles stepped closer, in perfect unison. Their eyes gleamed white in the dark. We ran. Branches whipped our faces, shadows warped. The whispers rose to a scream, 100 voices calling, mocking, pleading. The forest tilted, trails twisting in impossible directions. Every time we turned, more figures waited. Doubles of us, doubles of people we'd lost, doubles of strangers, each one smiling, each one whispering, "Stay." By the time we stumbled out of the red pines, the sky was pale with dawn. We collapsed by the ranger truck, shaking, gasping, clutching our knees. Neither of us spoke on the drive back. There was nothing to say, because we both knew. The forest wasn't echoing us. It was learning us. After that night, Maria and I tried to pretend life went back to normal. We filed a report that said nothing. Strange acoustics, unconfirmed visual distortions, just words to fill space. Nothing about the doubles, nothing about voices of the dead. But the forest wasn't done with us. 2 days later, I was making coffee in the station when Maria walked in. At least I thought it was Maria. She nodded, smiled faintly, poured herself a cup. She didn't say a word. Then the door opened again. Maria stepped in, jacket still damp from the morning patrol. The Maria standing by the counter was gone. I dropped my mug, ceramic shattering across the floor. The real Maria spun, hand on her radio.
What? What is it?
I stammered, pointing at the empty counter. You were just there. Her brow furrowed.
I just got here, Dan. What are you talking about?
I wanted to tell her, but the words stuck. Because even as she stood there, I wasn't sure anymore which Maria was real. It didn't stop. That night I left the station just after sunset. My truck sat at the edge of the lot. As I approached, I saw someone in the driver's seat. Me. Hands on the wheel, staring straight ahead. The headlights flared to life, blinding. By the time my vision cleared, the truck was empty. Maria had her own story the next morning. She'd gone to shower in the ranger lodge. Said when she turned from the mirror, another version of herself was still reflected there, smiling even as she stepped away. She smashed the mirror with her fist. Her knuckles were still wrapped in gauze. The whispers came next. At first faint. In the walls of the station, in the hum of the radios.
Maria, Daniel, come back to us.
Then louder. In the halls, in our rooms, outside our doors at night. Always voices we recognized, friends, family. Each one pleading. I stopped answering the phone because sometimes my dead father's voice was on the other end. We grew paranoid. Maria and I checked each other constantly. Little questions, little tests. What was the first thing I said to you when we met?
That my boots look too new for this job. What scar do I have on my right hand?
Shaped like a crescent. From a rope burn, we had to remind ourselves who we were, because the forest wanted us to forget. It got worse on patrol. We'd be walking and one of us would fall behind. I'd call Maria's name, and she'd answer from ahead, even though she was still right behind me. Sometimes I'd hear my own voice in the distance, calling back at me. This way, Daniel. Hurry. The temptation was always there, to follow, to see where it led. But we knew better. At least we thought we did. One night, Maria snapped. We were camped at the edge of the red pines, lantern burning low, radios hissing faint static. I woke to find her standing outside the tent, staring into the trees. Maria? What is it? She didn't answer. Her face was slack, eyes glazed, like she was listening to something deep in the forest. I grabbed her shoulder. Hey, stay with me. She blinked, slow, then whispered.
It's my brother. He says I can bring him back.
Her voice cracked.
He says I don't have to be alone anymore.
I shook her hard. That's not your brother. That's the forest. Her gaze flicked to mine, wet with tears.
How do you know? How do you know it isn't real?
I didn't have an answer. Because sometimes I wondered the same thing. What if it really was my father's voice? What if the forest wasn't lying? The next morning, Maria was quiet, distant. She wouldn't meet my eyes. When we reached the station, she logged off early, said she needed rest. That was the last time I saw her as herself. That night, I heard footsteps outside my cabin. Slow, deliberate. I grabbed my flashlight and gun, heart pounding, and opened the door. Maria stood there. Her clothes were torn, her face pale, eyes too wide. She smiled.
Dan, it's okay now. I understand.
Her voice was wrong, just slightly. Too smooth. She stepped closer, hands outstretched.
Come with me. We can be together. Forever.
I raised the gun. Stay back. Her smile widened, splitting too far, teeth gleaming in the dark. Her voice, layered. Maria's voice, my father's voice, the voices of strangers, all speaking at once.
Stay.
I fired. The figure dissolved into shadows between the trees. I didn't sleep that night. Didn't even close my eyes, because I knew the truth now. Maria hadn't come back from the red pines. Not really. The forest had her, and soon it would have me too. Maria didn't come back the next day. Her bunk at the lodge was empty, her radio silent. No one saw her leave, but I knew where she'd gone. The red pines. I geared up, map, lantern, rifle, spare batteries. I didn't call for backup. What could I say? My partner was lured away by a double of herself. No one would believe me, so I went alone. The forest was waiting. The moment I stepped beneath those blood-red trunks, the whispers began.
Daniel, over here. Don't leave her.
I gritted my teeth, kept walking. The trail seemed endless, stretching farther than it should. My compass spun lazily, useless. Then I saw her, Maria. She stood between two trees, pale in the lantern glow. "Maria, it's me." She didn't answer, just watched me, head tilted. I ran forward, but the closer I came, the more I saw. Her skin was wrong, too smooth, her eyes too dark. She smiled, and behind her, others moved. Copies, a dozen versions of Maria, each one whispering, each one smiling.
Stay with us. Be with us. Forever.
I stumbled back, heart hammering. The figures shifted, merging, faces warping into strangers, into me, dozens of me, standing shoulder to shoulder, grinning in the dark. "You're already one of us." I turned and ran. Branches clawed at my face, shadows twisting. Every direction looked the same. My breath tore in my chest, legs burning. When I finally stopped, the trail was gone. Only trees, endless trees, and voices closing in. Then in the silence, one voice rose above the rest.
Dan, please, help me.
It sounded real. I spun. Maria stood alone, trembling, tears streaking her cheeks.
It's me. The real me. I can't get out.
My hands shook on the lantern. How do I know? She reached forward. Her hand was warm when it touched mine.
Because you still know me. And I still know you.
For a moment, I believed. Then she smiled. Too wide, too sharp.
And I always will.
Her hand tightened, crushingly strong. I screamed, wrenched free, and bolted into the night. I didn't find my way out, not then. I collapsed by dawn, somewhere deep in the red pines, surrounded by silence, and waiting for me, sitting cross-legged on the trail, was Maria. This time, she didn't move, didn't speak, just watched and smiled. I don't remember how I got out. One moment I was staring into Maria's hollow eyes. The next, I was stumbling into daylight, the ranger station rising ahead. It felt wrong, too sudden, like the forest had let me go. Inside the station was quiet, too quiet. I called out, but no one answered. Then I heard typing. I followed the sound to the operations room. At the desk sat Ranger Maria, not the Maria I knew. Her fingers clacked on the keyboard, though the monitor was black. Her head turned in a slow, creaking motion.
You came back.
Her eyes were empty pits. I raised my rifle. Where are the others? She tilted her head.
They're already here.
Footsteps echoed in the halls. I turned and froze. The station was filling with people, rangers, dozens of them. Faces I knew. Faces of coworkers, hikers, lost hunters, all wrong. Their smiles stretched ear to ear. Their eyes glowed pale in the dark.
Stay.
I backed into the office, rifle trembling. You're not real. None of you are real. Maria rose from the chair.
We're more real than you. We'll last longer. We already wear your skin.
Her voice fractured into many, overlapping like a chorus.
You're the echo now.
The figures advanced. I fired. The shot tore through one ranger's chest, and they didn't fall, didn't even flinch. They kept coming. I fled through the back door, sprinting into the trees. The voices followed, not shouts, laughter, my laughter, chasing me through the night. I found the fire tower near dawn. The steel steps groaned under my weight as I climbed, lungs burning. At the top, I bolted the hatch, collapsed against the wall. From up there, the red pines stretched endless in every direction, and everywhere between the trunks, I saw them. Copies, standing motionless, staring up at me. Dozens, hundreds, every one of them smiling. That's when I realized I hadn't escaped. The station, the forest, the fire tower. It was all part of it. A prison, built from echoes. And I was already inside. I don't know how long I stayed in the tower. Hours, days. Time bent in the red pines. I didn't eat, didn't sleep, just watched as the doubles gathered below. Sometimes they looked like Maria, sometimes like me, sometimes like people I barely remembered, but always watching, always smiling. On the third night, the radio crackled. A voice came through.
Ranger Briggs, this is Central Dispatch. Do you copy?
I lunged for it, voice breaking. Yes, this is Briggs. I'm at Tower 6. I need extraction. Static hissed. Then don't listen to him. He's not real. Another voice. My voice. He's already gone. I'm the real one. The radio filled with overlapping Daniels, all speaking at once. I'm real. He's fake. You don't belong. Stay, stay, stay. I hurled the radio across the room. The voices didn't stop. That night, Maria came. She climbed the tower steps, slow, deliberate, her footsteps echoing through the steel frame. I aimed the rifle at the hatch. Don't you come up here. Silence. Then her voice, soft.
Dan, it's really me this time. Please.
Her tone cracked, broken.
I can't fight them alone.
For one heartbeat, I believed her. Then she began laughing, low at first, then louder, higher, until it was dozens of voices at once, shrieking through the night. The hatch rattled, metal groaned, and I knew the tower wouldn't hold, so I made my choice. I looked out at the endless pines, their trunks bleeding red in the moonlight, and I stepped onto the railing. Below, hundreds of faces stared up. My face, Maria's face, all waiting. I closed my eyes. For a moment I thought I heard silence. Then the voices rose together, one final time. I jumped. I woke on the trail at dawn, alone. The forest was silent. The station empty. Maria gone. Everything felt normal. Too normal. I stumbled back to the ranger truck, climbed inside, turned the key. The engine purred. The rearview mirror showed my face, smiling, too wide, too sharp. And that's when I understood. I never escaped. I never will. Because I am the echo now. And when the next ranger comes into the red pines, they'll hear me calling.
The Black Hollow Patrol.
The Black Hollow sector had a reputation. Not for crime, not for animals, but for silence. Even during the day, hikers reported how the air seemed thicker there, how sound didn't carry, how birds stopped singing once you crossed the hollow's invisible border. By night, no one dared enter, except the Rangers. The recovered logbook of Ranger Ellis Grant begins here. Patrol log, Ellis Grant, 2200 hours.
Rookie's with me tonight. Caleb North. Good kid. Nervous, I can tell. Dispatch wants us to sweep the hollow trails. Complaints again. Campers hearing voices, missing dogs, the usual spook stories. I told Caleb it's nothing, just acoustics and paranoia. That's all it ever is. But his voice in the recording carries no conviction.
Ellis was 58, 1 year from retirement. He'd patrolled Black Hollow for decades. If anyone knew its tricks, its shadows, its strange quiet, it was him. Caleb was 24, 3 weeks on the job. He thought of Ellis as a mentor. Ellis thought of Caleb as a liability. Together, they walked into the hollow. Body cam transcript, 22:45 hours.
It's quieter here, huh?
Told you. Hollow eats sound. Always has. Don't think about it.
Right.
There was a long pause as the sound of rustling branches drew Caleb's attention.
Do you hear that?
Hear what?
Exactly.
Patrol log. Ellis, 2-300 hours. The kid's jumpy. Keeps looking over his shoulder, can't blame him. The hollow feels heavier tonight. Like the dark's too thick, like it's pressing in. At the 1 mile marker, their radios sputtered. Radio transcript, 2312 hours.
Copy. Ranger Grant, confirm position, over.
1 mile in, trailhead markers clear, nothing unusual, over.
You sure? We're getting interference. Sounds like...
Static. A faint voice suddenly bleeds through, overlapping, layered, almost like Ellis's own voice.
Say again, dispatch.
Not alone out there.
Caleb stiffened.
What did he say?
Ellis clipped the radio back.
Bad signal, ignore it.
But he didn't believe that. Not anymore. At the 2 mile mark, they found the first anomaly. A deer carcass.
Patrol log, 2340 hours. Dead buck on the trail, no blood, no wounds, just hollow. Like something scooped the insides clean and left the skin, eyes wide open, kid gagged, I can't blame him. The body cam shows Caleb kneeling, flashlight trembling.
Ellis. It's not decomposed. It's fresh. But there's nothing inside.
He taps the ribs and the sound echoed through the forest.
Let's move on.
They leave the deer behind. But something moves in the trees after them. The body cam footage blurs after midnight. Static, distortion, voices layered on voices. But the logs continue.
Patrol log Ellis, 0015 hours. We're lost. Trails don't line up with the map. Compass spins. Kid swears he saw someone in the tree line. Looked like me. Said it was smiling. I told him it was a trick of the light. I lied.
It was you, Ellis. I saw you, standing 30 feet away. But you were right next to me.
Drop it.
It looked just like you. Same jacket, same hat. But its eyes.
Static swallows his words. A faint laugh cuts through. Ellis's laugh, but wrong, stretched.
Tell me you heard that.
I heard it.
They press deeper into the hollow, though neither knows why. The logs grow frantic.
Patrol log, Ellis, 100 hours. I don't know what time it is anymore. Compass useless. Radio's dead. The trees look wrong. Too close together like they're watching. Caleb's not himself, keeps muttering. Keeps saying I'm not me. God help me, I'm not sure I am.
The logs become harder to pass after 100 hours. Caleb's body cam malfunctions. Ellis's handwriting grows jagged, frantic, but what survives tells enough.
Patrol log, Ellis Grant, 120 hours. Heard the radio again. Should have been dead miles back. Came through clear as if dispatch was standing right next to me. But the voice, it was my own.
Static filled the radio channel. Then a crisp male voice, identical to Ellis's, cut through.
Ellis, stop walking. You're making a mistake.
Ellis began breathing heavy. Caleb whispers in the background.
That's you, Ellis. It's your voice.
Shut up, turn around, look at him. He isn't Caleb anymore.
The transmission ended abruptly. Caleb's logs begin here. Though fragmented, his handwriting suggests panic. Recovered journal. Caleb North. Time unknown.
He won't trust me. Keeps looking sideways like I'm not me. Says he hears my voice when I don't speak. I swear it isn't me, but he doesn't believe me.
The rift between them widens. Every echo of their voices, every flicker of shadow between the trees, drives suspicion deeper. Body cam transcript, 145 hours. The lantern light flickers. Caleb and Ellis stand in a small clearing, breathing hard.
We're going in circles. Look, that's the same fallen tree we passed an hour ago.
Ellis, we haven't turned once. Caleb, I'm telling you, we're looping.
Silence. Then a rustle. Both swing their lights toward the trees. Two figures stand there. Perfect copies of Caleb and Ellis, unmoving.
Christ.
Don't look at them, don't.
The doubles smile. Both speak in unison, layered with static.
One of you is already ours.
The footage glitches, and the figures vanish. Patrol log, Ellis, 200 hours.
They're following us. Two of them now. Always behind, just far enough we can't see clear. Kid keeps saying I'm not me. Maybe he's right. My hands don't look like mine anymore. My skin's too tight. If this is the Hollow's trick, it's a cruel one.
By 230 hours, the Hollow changes again. The trees grow denser. The trail dissolves into root and stone. Compass needles spin. Both men report the sensation of being watched from above. Caleb's notes describe something moving between the treetops. Ellis's voice recorder catches faint, heavy breathing overhead, though no branches sway. Recovered journal. Caleb. Time unknown.
Heard my mom's voice tonight. She's been dead 8 years. Said she missed me. Said she was proud. I almost followed it. Ellis stopped me. He dragged me back. I hate him for it. I wanted to believe it was her.
Patrol log, Ellis, 0300 hours. The sky won't lighten. Should have been dawn an hour ago. Feels like we've walked days. My boots aren't worn, my canteen's still full. Time doesn't move here, it only bends.
Then, the second signal.
Radio transcript 0315 hours.
Static, then Caleb's voice. though he holds no radio.
Ellis, shoot him. He's not me.
The real Caleb frantically spoke up.
That's not me. Don't listen.
Silence. Ellis breathes ragged, gun half raised. Caleb backs away, terrified.
Which one are you?
The clone was the first to answer.
The one begging isn't me.
Static crackles. Ellis lowers the gun, shaking. Caleb's sobs fill the mic. The radio dies again. By this point, the hollow no longer only echoes. It rewrites. The logs show overlapping handwriting, sentences beginning in Ellis's voice and ending in Caleb's. Their body cams record flashes of each other's faces on the wrong bodies. The forest is folding them together.
Patrol log, joint entry, time unreadable. I'm writing this.
No, I am. He thinks it's him, but it's not. I've always been the one writing, haven't I?
Which one of us started this? Which one came into the hollow?
Maybe there was only ever one.
The trail ends at the lake. Black Hollow Lake, stagnant and wide, ringed by dead reeds. Its surface reflects nothing. Not the moon, not the lanterns, not their faces. Body cam transcript, 0340 hours. Ellis kneels at the edge, staring into the black water.
It doesn't show us.
Maybe it's better that way.
Ellis dips his hand in, pulls it out. His palm is empty, skin pale, hollowed like the deer carcass before.
It's taking me apart.
Caleb screams, staggers back.
We have to go. We have to go now.
Patrol log, joint entry, 0400 hours.
We are both here. We are neither. The hollow patrols itself.
By 0415 hours, the hollow had stopped following the rules of space and time. Trails twisted in impossible angles. The lake seemed to pulse, black water rippling without wind. The body cam footage shows both rangers standing on opposite sides of the lake, lights trembling. Their shadows flicker oddly, stretching and bending against the trees. Body cam transcript, 0416 hours.
Ellis, look.
Don't go near it.
Caleb steps closer. The reflection of the lake shimmers, and for the first time, they see themselves as something other. Not human, faces hollowed, eyes sunken, skin pale, hair tangled and damp.
I don't look like me.
It's showing us what it wants us to be.
A faint ripple across the lake forms a second reflection. They're doubles. Both identical, grinning, beckoning.
Join us. Stop fighting. You've been here all along.
Caleb shook his head violently, stepping back.
We're not them. We're not.
The reflection smiles wider, splitting into dozens of faces. Each one whispers a different memory, a different accusation.
You abandoned me. You failed. You belong here.
Ellis points the rifle at the water. The doubles do the same. Perfectly mirrored.
It doesn't matter. They already know us better than we know ourselves.
The water suddenly erupts in black tendrils. They lash at the rangers, brushing against skin, leaving it pale, hollow, twitching. Caleb fires a shot. The water hisses, boiling around him. the reflection cracking like glass, the doubles laughing, fading, then reappearing closer. The rangers stumble back into the reeds. The lake surface calms, but the reflection remains. Smiling, patient. Patrol log, Ellis Grant, 0430 hours.
We tried to run. Nothing here runs straight. The lake bends paths. We're walking in circles. Caleb. He doesn't know who he is anymore. I barely know myself. Every step echoes wrong. God help me, the hollow is patient.
By 0445 hours, Caleb collapses. Caleb kneels, hands clutching his head. Ellis kneels beside him, voice shaking.
It's all me. It's all me. I'm not myself.
You're not. You're still you. Just hold on.
You've always belonged here. Stop fighting. Join us.
The camera swings wildly, catching glimpses of the doubles crawling out of the trees, mirrored in every puddle, reflected on every surface. Caleb screams. Ellis tries to pull him away, but the doubles begin to surround them, perfect copies with hollow eyes and stretched smiles. By 0500 hours, the logs are nearly indecipherable. Patrol log, joint entry, time unreadable.
I am Ellis. No, Caleb. We are both. The hollow speaks through me. Through us.
We try to fight. It shows us our failures, our regrets, every misstep, every lost friend, every lie.
The rangers are forced to march deeper into the forest. The doubles follow, moving silently through the red-trunked trees, sometimes ahead, sometimes behind, always just out of reach. Their laughter drifts from the shadows. A voice calls from every direction, every memory and every loss layered into one impossible chorus. Body cam transcript, 0520 hours.
I hear my mother. She's smiling.
Don't listen.
Static. Shadows move closer. The doubles reach out, fingers thin and warped, faces smiling, skin pale.
You're ours now. Stop fighting.
At 5:30 hours, the rangers reach the hollow's core, a clearing of black soil, trees bent inward like a cathedral. The air hums, alive with vibration. The doubles converge. Recovered journal, Caleb.
They want me. They've always wanted me. Ellis tries to push me forward. I fight. The ground beneath us pulses. Time isn't time. Space isn't space.
Ellis steps forward, weapon raised.
Stay back. Don't.
A double of himself steps through the shadows, exactly as he remembers. The rifle in its hands mirrors his.
It's too late. You've already given yourself.
Ellis fires. The double shatters into shadow. A ripple passes through the trees. Caleb looks into the core. A single black reflection swims in the soil. A perfect copy of him, grinning, reaching upward.
I can't.
The hollow feeds on hesitation, on disbelief, on fear. Every soul that resists becomes a shadow, another echo in its endless forest. By 0600 hours, the logs stop. Only fragmented audio remains. Body cam audio, 0605 hours.
It's time. There's no leaving. We are hollow now.
No, I'm me. I'm me.
Sound of branches snapping, laughter, water bubbling. and a faint, distorted gunshot. Then silence. Weeks later, the patrol logs, body cams, and radios were recovered. The files are corrupted, voices overlap, frames shift, every image of Ellis or Caleb doubles, then triples, then fractures entirely. The hollow doesn't end, it doesn't stop. Even after recovery, the tapes hum with faint whispers. Some swear they hear new voices, rangers who vanished years ago, hikers, lost souls, all claiming they belong to the hollow. Recovered radio transcript, unknown time.
You can't leave.
We belong.
There's always room for more.
Static rises, drowning everything. The final image on the recovered body cam was of Caleb and Ellis standing in the clearing. Faces pale, hollowed, grins too wide as they stare directly into the lens. Behind them, dozens of shadows ripple through the trees. The reflection moves. The doubles move. The hollow waits. Black Hollow is not a place you enter. It's not a forest, not a sector, not a stretch of land. It is patience. It is reflection. It is the slow, deliberate undoing of everything you think you are. Those who enter may leave their bodies. Some leave their minds. Most leave both. The logs tell part of the story. The radios tell another. The tapes tell another. But the hollow remembers them all. And when the next patrol enters, they will hear the echoes of Ellis, of Caleb, and of everyone the hollow has ever claimed. Thank you again for tuning in to the Eerie Archives channel. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment what you'd like to see in the next video. Until next time, stay eerie.